The number one reason people struggle to resolve gut issues is FODMAP stacking. Okay, so just to recap, for those who don't know, FODMAPs refer to certain sugars that are known to trigger digestive problems. So lactose is the most well-known FODMAP, let's say. That's one example. And there's many types. Now, stacking refers to when FODMAP compounds accumulate or stack up in your digestive tract, okay, and then they cause symptoms. So as an example, I've got a little graph here for you. So this red line here, that's your threshold, your individual threshold. It looks different for different people. But essentially, if you exceed that threshold, if we go past this line, that's where symptoms occur. Okay, so there's no symptoms below the line. So this refers to the amount eaten on the y-axis. Anyway, it's been too long since I did maths class. The amount eaten is going up here, and then we've got time here, which is going from left to right, just so you understand. And like I said, if you exceed your threshold level, you get symptoms. Down here, you've got no symptoms. So let's put that into practice now with actual food. Show you what I'm talking about. So let's say you ate some chocolate, milk chocolate, a few squares. I think it's 30 grams, or it's like 3 or 4 squares of milk chocolate is low FODMAP. It's considered not an amount of lactose that is going to cause you issues. So you can eat that and it's fine. Now, let's say you had some at lunch. There was some someone brought some into the office or something, and you had a little bit more because it's still there a few hours later. And then you have a bit more. And then in the evening, you have some more because there's some at home. Well, now you can see we've moved into past our threshold and into symptoms. The FODMAP compounds are stacking up in your digestive tract. Up and up and up. So FODMAPs can stack within 24 hours, even if you space out meals with 3 hours. So like I just showed you there, if that was all in the space of a day, they can stack up. In fact, based on client feedback, it appears they stack even past 24 hours. And it makes sense as well. If we think about the physiology of our digestive tract and how long it can take food to go through. In some people, it can be 72 hours plus. You can certainly stack FODMAPs past 24 hours. Think about, have you ever had a safe food, a food you felt was like, oh, I can eat this, doesn't cause me problems. And so you eat that each day. Maybe it's a flour that you use or a type of bread or something like that. And over time, after a few weeks or months, it starts to turn on you and trigger symptoms. It's because it's been stacking over time, and you've not allowed your digestive tract enough time to get rid of that problem FODMAP. So, for example, a simple example is like if you eat some cabbage or coleslaw or something, you could have it for, say, dinner. Let's say you had it for dinner, and the amount you had was fine. Now, the next day you eat the leftovers for lunch, and it exceeds your threshold because you've still got the problem compounds in there from before. In this case, it's a sugar alcohol, and it causes you symptoms. So hopefully, I'm hoping that's starting to make sense, but I've got some more examples. And here's the real kicker. Even different low FODMAP foods and portions can stack. So it's not just stacking will only occur with lactose if you just eat chocolate. But if you're having different foods that have FODMAPs in them, they can kind of stack on each other, even if the FODMAP compound is different. I'll show you what I mean. So my point is, but it's important to pay attention to the type of FODMAPs that you're having and the overall combinations you're consuming as well. This is to avoid FODMAP stacking. So let's look at this example here. So we've had cabbage first, for example. And then, I don't know, you have, so you have some coleslaw meal at lunch, and then maybe you had like celery sticks with dip or something. And so we have two different sugar alcohols, which are a type of FODMAP here. So they're different, but they can still stack on each other. And then, you know, maybe you had some more cabbage, maybe there was a small amount of avocado and a small amount of beetroot in your dinner salad. Now, you might be having low FODMAP portions of these. So via the app, or, you know, in the literature, it says like, well, it shouldn't cause me symptoms because the quantity is so low. However, they do appear to stack on one another. So, I mean, in this example, not only do you have the same food here that would stack up, but you've got other foods that can be high FODMAP if we eat too much of them. But even them in small quantities on top of each other can stack up as well. So you need to be quite particular about some of the foods you choose, especially in the beginning. And there's other food compounds that can stack as well. Okay, for example, alcohol, spicy food, caffeine, fatty foods, histamine, and other food chemicals. So there's different things to consider as well. They're not just FODMAP compounds that stack. Like, think about alcohol, right? You can probably have a glass of wine or something, or a beer, and then what happens when you have a lot of it? Then you start to get symptoms, right? It's the same for caffeine, same for high-fat foods for a lot of people. Now, I know that was a lot to take in. So let's go over a quick recap and know that we have unique resources and systems that we use with our clients to make this whole process like simple and easy. You don't even have to think about this stuff. But you need to be aware of it. And I'm finding most people, almost everyone, is not aware. No one's teaching this stuff. So to recap for you, okay, stacking refers to when FODMAP compounds accumulate or stack up, hence the term. FODMAPs can stack within 24 hours, for sure, even if you space out meals with 3 hours, or the time that you eat with 3 hours, it's still going to stack. In fact, it appears very clearly that they stack past 24 hours. Different low FODMAP foods and portions can stack, okay? So that's important to remember. Pay attention to the type of FODMAPs and overall combinations you are consuming. So you do want to have a basic understanding of what you're having there. And there's other food compounds that can stack as well. Alcohol, spicy food, caffeine, fatty foods, food chemicals, and some additives as well. And for a lot of people, you don't have to worry about that stuff if that's not you, but just so you know,